Welcome to Rox Talks. It's another Monday morning. I'm Roxanne Wilson. It's so good to be here with you. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate each of you watching. Your feedback has been amazing, and I'm just encouraged to be able to chat with you, inform all the things. Today we're going to be talking about weddings. When is a bride too old to be a bride? Dun dun dun. We're also going to be talking about dancing it out and football. My goodness, the football yesterday. Maybe we'll just start there with the football yesterday. We'll go backwards for my weekend. All these things tie into my weekend. So as you may have heard, the final two games, the AFC and the NFC championship games were yesterday. And I legitimately liked all teams. Each team had a great story. I mean, you got Mahomes being Mahomey, and of course with Kelsey and the Swifties and whatnot, and Taylor. So that's all interesting. You have the 49ers with Mr. Relevant, with Brock Purdy. Is it Brock? I always get his first name wrong. But with Purdy, and just how they've been able to just be powerhouses, even though he was the last person picked from the draft. Love that story. And I've been to a 49ers game. Love the 49ers. Love the stadium, all the stuff. Then there's also the business of the Detroit Lions, who've not won in the century, basically, and just their comeback kid. Plus, they have Aiden Hutchinson, who happens to be from Michigan, although Moody, the kicker from the 49ers, is also from Michigan, but that's a whole other story. And then last, but oh my goodness, certainly not least, you have the Ravens, and you have the situation with Lamar Jackson and just the type of quarterback and person he is, and him going to the Super Bowl, how exciting that would be. I wanted all teams to win. And then you have the Super Bowl, the lore that the colors of the Super Bowl logo each year actually predicts who the teams are going to be, which, if you believe that, it's the Ravens versus the 49ers. That did not happen. 49ers won, but the Chiefs pulled it out in exciting fashion. I should take that back. It wasn't exciting. That game was trash. The only good thing about that first game was Tony Romo. And I was annoyed because I feel like Tony Romo's skills, who is like the best commentator out there, were just wasted on a horrible game. Yeah, I said it. I'm like, this game is so poor Tony. Thank goodness they have the Super Bowl, and they better give him a good game, because he'll make the Swifties who've never watched football in their life and are watching it just to see her understand the game and feel like they could be the next coach. He's so good. That was the most exciting thing about the game. That, and to see Taylor Swift at the end on the field, which was pretty cool to see that. And I also seeing Travis Kelce's brother, Jason, also on the field. That was really cool that he's just become such a fan since his team, the Eagles, lost a couple weeks ago, and he's out and he's retired. He retired now. Oh, and also seeing the younger brother, Harbaugh, my man Harbaugh, who is leaving Michigan, but he was there rooting on his brother. That was the other part of the reason why the Ravens was going to be exciting, because if Harbaugh and Harbaugh both won, oh my goodness, same year. Okay, so there was that. Second game was much more exciting, thank goodness, but man, did the Detroit Lions just crap the bed in the second half. It wasn't their fault. I mean, let me say this. I will blame it on the coaching. Yes, I'm blaming it on the coach, although that coach scares me, because Campbell, right? He was outcoached, completely outcoached. And it's not even so much going for the fourth downs, although I will just say, he should have gone for the one in the first half, and then he went for two in the second half. We're like, why are you doing this? Don't do it. I don't care if he's done it all season. It just didn't make sense. But in general, the things that were working the first half, they didn't even do for most of the second half. And then guess what? They lost. But kudos to the 49ers, the coach Shanahan. You out-coached Campbell, and they came back and won. And Purdy, you got some legs. You made me nervous, though, Purdy, because you didn't do the quarterback slide. You dove in like a child who's excited about getting the pool for the first time in the season. I need the Super Bowl to be better. I'm glad that we have 2 weeks, because I also need to let go my sadness for the teams that lost, because I liked them all. So that's my football rant. I know some of you are wondering, will Taylor Swift be at the Super Bowl? She's supposed to be in Japan or something. They were talking about this eons ago, and I thought, well, the likelihood of this happening, because the Chiefs were so bad this year, were very slim, but hey, they won. So she could do an overnight flight and come back. Who knows if she's going to do that or not, but all eyes will be watching. I'm totally fine with her being I'm not bothered by Taylor Swift in the NFL, because I think that anyone who has a boyfriend in the NFL should be able to root them on and do whatever they want. And so what if you're a billionaire, you're the most popular woman in the world? She should be able to do it, and people need to leave her alone. She's not the reason she's all over TV. That would be the NFL. There you go. I said it. Okay, so prior to that, I went to see, I think I told you I was going to go to a dance class, BigKidRick. Check him out on the gram. Or actually, you know what you could do? If you go to my Instagram, @RoxTalks, we've collaborated on a video. That sounds like we collaborated on a video. That sounds so much bigger than it is. I have to tell you, I almost didn't go to class yesterday because I was tired. And I was tired because I was coordinating a wedding the day before. We'll get there in a moment. We're going backwards this time. And so I thought, well, should I go? I'm like, no, you're going. So I went, and I like to get there early because I like my spot and I want my spot. And even when I get there early, I'm like in danger of not having my spot. So I got there really early, and it just so happens that BigKidRick and one of his students who he's clearly friends with were there, and he was getting ready and doing a song. And whenever I get there early, I just kind of I want to learn as much as I can because I don't want to be tripping over people during the class. And so literally, he was very generous if you read his comments. I don't know that I helped him choreograph the song. I think I was just there for moral support, and we talked, and he was doing it, and I was doing it. But anyhow, all that to say, I'm so glad I went and I didn't ditch it because I was tired, right? After a wedding, I'm typically tired because it was so much fun, and ended up, he pulled me up to the front for the song that we've been working on before. And again, he choreographed it. I was just kind of doing the moves, and maybe it helps to see someone do the moves as you're trying to figure it out and whatnot. And we're going through some videos, whatever, all the things to say. It was really cool. And if you want to see me dancing, you can see me dancing to the song, which is like a Stand By Me, but it's a cover by, I believe it's Jason Derulo. And is that right? I think it's Jason Derulo and definitely Megan Trainor. If it's not Jason, sorry, Jason, my bad. So check that out. And seriously, if you come to Arizona, you need to come to one of his classes. I don't care how in shape you feel like you are, how coordinated you feel like you are. It does not matter. You leave that class feeling so empowered. You should not miss it. Seriously, it is destination. You go to it. And if you're going to be in, I think, Nashville or somewhere in that area, he's actually doing a class there next week or something. Check it out. Anyway, so if you're in that area, I know some of you are. I know you should get there and go. Okay, so it just a reminder that sometimes when you think maybe me going is irrelevant, I gotta tell you, it's nerve-wracking for me to go to that class because it is like going to a new school, not knowing anyone. Everyone there, it feels like everyone there knows everyone. And I know that's not true, but it feels that way. And although everyone is very welcoming, I'm used to going to dance class and either A, I used to teach exercise, so I commanded the room, or B, knowing my people, walking around saying hi to people, greeting them. That's just what I'm used to doing. And I don't think that that's my era right now. Honestly, my era right now is to be able to just go to class and enjoy myself and not feel like I have to be the biggest energy in the room. At the same time, when you're not being the biggest energy in the room, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm an organizer. I'm a coordinator. I'm someone who creates things that other people get to enjoy. I come first, create the thing, and then I'm like, here's the thing, and you get to enjoy it, and I watch you enjoy it. So it is a different experience for me, and we'll see how it goes. But it is I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of, you talk to people as they talk to you, but it feels everyone is so nice. So I want to clarify that everyone's so nice, but it's still intimidating. So if you come, let me know, and I'll go with you, and I'll make sure it's not intimidating for you. But it's just the pre, because I come so early. Then once you start dancing, it's all good and gravy. But the pre, because I'm getting there 30, 45 minutes early just because that's my jam. There you have it. And I go on Sunday morning. I don't have it, there's nothing before that time that I go on a Sunday morning. So our childhood friend, my sister Rochelle's childhood friend got married this weekend. Rochelle was the maid of honor. And the bride had asked me if I would coordinate the wedding because she knows I did wedding coordination for a while, and while I don't do it anymore, totally willing to be the day of coordinator for her, of course. She's family. So I said yes, I did the thing, and that's why I was like, okay, usually the next day I can't even move, but I'm glad to say I was able to get up and dance and rally. I had just put my game face on. I rested on Friday. One thing I've noticed during her journey as a bride that felt very familiar to me And the question I asked you at the beginning is, when are you too old to be a bride? I think that's how I phrased it, to be a bride. And while you're never too old to be a bride, I'd love to sit down with Teresa from The Golden Bachelor, which, by the way, she has messaged me back on the gram, so we have had a conversation, so maybe I could at some point. Maybe I should. But she's a little different because she's been married before. I think with this bride this weekend and myself, never been married before, getting married in our 40s, you almost feel like you can't fully be a bride. You're constantly thinking about everyone else and trying to temper like whatever you want or everything's fine because you're so conscious of it. I think when you get married in your 20s and even your early 30s, you don't give about what other people are thinking. You're like, I want this, I want this. It's very much more of a self-centered, I don't mean in a bad way, but a self-centered, self-focused type of bride. When you get married in your 40s, you feel a little bit differently about it. You feel like you have to be conscious of everyone. And so something I kept telling her as we leading up to the wedding, I'm like, you're the bride. This is your day. You're allowed to be a queen for a day. You're allowed to not think about what other people need, want, all the things. And I know Rochelle, my sister, had to tell me the same thing a lot of ways. I didn't want a bridal shower. I didn't want a batch party. I just didn't feel like that was like, no, that's okay. That's okay. And it was truly this part of like, when you get married, I didn't want even a registry. I didn't want to register. I had to be forced to, like all these things you feel like you're not entitled to because you didn't get married in your 20s and your 30s. And so if you're out there, and maybe people who get married a second time feel this way as well, too, or third time, I want you to know, like, if you're like me and you got married or you're getting married in your 40s and you feel like you cannot, like maybe those bride things are for younger brides, that's not true. They're for you too. It is your day. It is your wedding and you get to embrace it and like just be full bride. Even if that means be bridezilla for you. If that's your tea, you do it. But don't take that moment away from yourself. Because what I noticed is if you do, then you will, in hindsight, you'll regret it. And you don't want to do that. Lean in. It took me, I did end up registering. I did end up having a batch party. I did end up having a bridal shower. But I felt very conscious about not wanting to inconvenience people, which is great to feel that way, let me just say. But I think in addition to that, we can feel like let people celebrate you. Let people be there for you. Let people allow you to be the bride. And don't think that there's something wrong with that. If you know of maybe you're already married and you know someone who's getting married and this resonates with the way you see that they're acting, please send this to them. Let them hear this. From someone who just got married, I'm 6 months in, almost 7. I'm 44, got married at 44. And so I can honestly say that now that I'm out of that, yeah, like you embrace that moment. Embrace that moment and be that bride. You have not lost rights to being a bride because you opted or ended up getting married in your later years. Not even your later years. Hello. J-Lo is like 50 something now. It's not even her later years. Okay. But later than the average duck. I mean, I went to Baylor. Women were getting engaged their junior year, end of junior year. So they had that whole year to be engaged. And then right after graduation, they got married. And that's the way that it was. Okay. Well, no, that wasn't the way it was for me. And that's okay. I still get to be a bride. And so do you. Embrace it. And finally, so things are rolling and going. My office, as you can still see, is pretty blank. I told Scott the other day, I think my issue was I wasn't quite certain on how I wanted to set it up. Because really how you set up your office matters. I know that with my office and my closet and whether I do like my podcasting or my shows inside or out, it matters. Like the bigger space is going to be the space that I give more like deference to. So I'm really working it out that anything that's for me, like this, like that's for Rocks Talks, I want to do in this space. And anything that's like contract for another company or whatever is going to be in the closet. Yep, I'm putting that baby in the closet. So I'm clear on that. And I think that's going to really help out. I think that's it for today. I'm so glad to be here with you. I appreciate you. Please go. Oh, by the way, TikTok, I'm doing the TikTok thing. I actually changed my TikTok handle, y'all, just to be more consistent, not to be confusing. It's Rocks Talks Show. So it's Rocks Talk Show because I figure that works. And check it out. That might be more. I think the YouTube's Rock Talk Show too. So I think I did make it more normal. I don't know. But definitely go check it out. I've been going live. I've gone live twice since I saw you last, and that is a hoot and a hootenanny, and just showing off some different things and whatnot. So I'd love for you to check that out. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, go be great. Bye, everybody.